everyone. Gay has told me I can start. So we'll welcome you all to this service this morning. And little different circumstances, but it's super to get together with all of our friends from Niverville, and of course all of our old friends from Steinbach. And it's just great to be here, right, Simba? So sometimes I follow the script, and sometimes I don't. And so if I wander away from the script a little bit, that's okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, the service this morning is a little different. It's been planned by our firm team. That's Lois, Gay, myself, and Simba. So it has a little bit different twist to it, and you'll learn more about it later. But we're welcome Angelica Brunder. Did I say it right?
Oh my gosh, you're one of the only ones there.
And I only practiced that once. And Angelica is going to be telling us about the Band of Colors later on in our service. So we're looking forward to that, and looking forward to the snacks. I've got my own, you know what? I don't drink coffee. I'm off script now. I don't drink coffee, and I don't drink tea. So today I brought my own Five Alive, so I can have some refreshing drink with our snacks here. So it's not alcoholic, so don't think that. Anyway. Okay, back to the script. Today we're gathered in this space. This place is sacred, and the land is ancient. We're all connected. The land, the people, the animals, the plants, and we're committed to continue to build relationships with all of creation as we seek justice and peace. So as we gather today, it doesn't matter who we are, where we've come from, who we love, or where we are in our faith journey. We know we're a beloved child of God. All are welcome here, and everyone belongs. As we light these candles, symbolizing the presence of the sacred in our midst, we do so in solidarity with all people and all creation. We are not alone. Okay, we'll have our announcements. Maybe we'll start off with Steinbach first, and then Niverville. So Gay is first, and I'll be second. That's okay. Sure. I'll have to come down.
This makes it easier. My announcement is just to explain what has been happening in our community in the last little while, or in our building. Yes, we did have a break-in. We found it Thursday morning when Stacy arrived. There was juice boxes all over the place. There was, or not all over the place, there was only 2 or 3 of them. There were a paper, an envelope that was opened. We were sure that they were looking for money. And all the equipment in the hub was thrown around. Lots of it was thrown onto the ground. The cords were ripped out. It was a bit of a mess. So we went down into the kitchen, into the CE, the rest of the building, to see what else had been done. In the kitchen down there, the cupboards had all been opened, the doors, but nothing had been taken. There was no damage. There were, Evelyn thinks there was ice cream in the fridge. I forgot to look there. There was a bag of chips in the cupboard. They weren't taken. So it was a very weird feeling, but you feel a little bit invaded. So we called the RCMP, as you would expect, and they came and we searched around and we found that they had entered through the basement window just outside here. They had broken the window, had come in through the window, and obviously had cut themselves because they left a little blood on the curtain, and we found a little blood on one stairwell, which was really good news because now the RCMP has a sample that they can test, and then we maybe can find out who has done it. But there was no other damage. Nothing was stolen. Like you can see, we're back to worshiping here. This front part of the church, there was nothing. Nothing was touched. So, the RCMP said there has been a rash of break-ins recently in churches and in businesses. Brian was talking to somebody from the Grace Mennonite Church. They have had 3 in the recent days. And bikes stolen from outside and inside the church. So this is not us. So we are very confident in saying that this has nothing to do with affirming. This has nothing to do with the drag brunch. That this is simply a person breaking in because they were looking for something. The RCMP think they were looking for food and money. So they really had slim pickings in here. As far as I know, they didn't get anything except juice boxes. So, but the other thing we've heard is that there have been break-ins for copper wire. So we wondered if that might have been why they went to the hub and destroyed it, right? We don't know. So we'll see. And ultimately it doesn't matter. But the rainbow flag was not touched, the rainbow candle was not touched, nothing of a religious nature was touched that would make us have any reason to suspect it had anything to do with our stand in our faith. So this is a time to continue on standing up for what we believe and who we are as a people of faith. So a big thank you for the following people for helping clean up. Bev Burnell, Stacy, Ed and Marlene, Dave and Loisberg, and also a huge thank you to Jonathan, who came in. Jimmy rigged our equipment so we could be doing this today. Unfortunately, some of the cables are broken and damaged, and we couldn't reconnect to Niverville for this Sunday. So just, you don't know how much it means, Niverville folk, for you to be here, supporting us and with us at this moment. So thank you very much. I think that's it.
Sorry, nothing to do with church, sorry. But in a few weeks from now, it's going to be summer in the city. And on the Saturday, we're doing a thing called the polar plunge, where people get to go in a tank of cold water, like jump in to raise money for Special Olympics. And for us, for national squad from Team Manitoba to go to Calgary next year, so that's mostly what we're doing. So if you like we're doing fun, so if you want to talk to me after church, okay, and because I'll be around. Thanks.
Thanks, Lily.
Our men's choir sang last week, and as promised, it was an outstanding performance by the choir, and especially the kids too. And a few of my friends from other churches said, "Ryan, how come there were so many United Church people there? And I counted them, including the 3 guys in the choir. There was over 20 people from our church there. For a small church like us, percentage-wise, I bet you we outnumber just about every other church in town. And as Dodie said to me a couple of days ago, she said that was an outstanding concert, Brian. So hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to January 18th. The men's choir is coming here to sing, and we're going to blow the roof off this house. And if you can send a few positive thoughts tomorrow at approximately 1:31. That's when I'm getting a new hip. And my friend in Winnipeg, a lot of you know Dave Dreger, I said to him, send a few positive thoughts. He said, for who? You or the doctor? So, both. So if I'm anything like my friend Arv, I'll be up and running that day. Arv had his hip replaced 5 or 6 months ago, and he's like a spring chicken now. You see that guy moving around. So Monday.
I don't know if anybody knew Diana Colson, but she's part of our church, and she passed away on Thursday. And I don't know any information yet as to when the funeral is. We'll find out maybe more tomorrow. I don't know, but Bridge Park Manor hopefully will let Anne know and then let me know. So, and prayers for her family. And also garden tomorrow if you want to help plant some of the plants that need to go in at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, anybody from Niverville would like to come up and tell us all about what's happening in Niverville?
I have some sad news for people in Niverville. Anne Cron has passed away and was not a member of our church, but she was part of the heart of our church. She went to the quilting with the quilting ladies. She was the postmaster, mistress, I should say, for Niverville for many, many years. And she will be dearly missed. I'm sure God has a special seat for her up in heaven. Prayers for her family.
Just a reminder for Niverville people that next week Sunday we will not be having a service in the church, but we will be meeting at the community service where Simba is going to be preaching. And yes, and so that I noticed in the news and notes it's at the Community Fellowship Church, right? Am I right there? Because I thought we thought. Okay, check your news and notes if you want to check. And that's for the time too. Is it 10 a.m.? I should have, okay, 10 a.m. So, pardon? I'll be there. Yes.
Okay, we'll continue on with the rest of the service.
Eternal God, your spirit moved on the waters, and there was light. Your first creation, your spirit moved on the water of our baptism, and again there was light in our souls and hearts. Let your holy light shine on us today as we remember your creation and our special part in it. May your creative spirit be at work in our hearts and minds today as we worship you and always, as we strive to live in obedience to your will. May your spirit continue to work in us and others to create a loving world, peaceful neighborhoods, and kind hearts. Amen.
Good morning. Am I projecting okay?
Yes.
Okay. Our theme time book today is called Ellie Blossoms by Jacqueline Stone, illustrated by Claudia Stoughton. Ellie was an elephant who was different as can be. She loved to plant pink tulips, dreaming they'd be a sight to see. But every time she'd bury a bulb, a shoot would sprout, then die. Ellie knew she'd get it right one day, as long as she would try. The other elephants told Ellie that she was so strange. They mocked her for her differences and said that she should change. Elephants don't plant tulips. Your garden will never grow. You should be like one of us and join the circus show. But Ellie was determined that her tulips would be a hit. She watered them and worked real hard. Her love for them never quit. Then one day she went to her garden, and everywhere she looked, pink tulips stood for miles and miles, like something in a book. But one unusual tulip stood high above the rest, a special yellow tulip. Ellie knew that she was blessed. For that special yellow tulip told Ellie different is okay. And crowds came from everywhere to see her tulips on display. That lovely yellow tulip was so beautiful and grand, Ellie knew that everyone would look in awe and finally understand. Each of us is unique. We all have a special place. Embrace our differences. Love each other and never judge in haste. The end.
The readings today are Psalm 139, verses 1 to 4. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. And verse 13, for it was you who formed me, my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works that I know very well.
Good morning. Our second reading is John chapter 4, verse 4 to 30. To get there, he had to pass through Samaria. He came into Sychar, a Samaritan village that bordered the field Jacob had given his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there. Jesus, worn out by the trip, sat down at the well. It was noon. A woman, a Samaritan, came to draw water. Jesus said, "Would you give me a drink of water?" His disciples had gone to the village to buy food for lunch. The Samaritan woman, taken aback, asked, "How come you, a Jew, are asking me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink?" Jews in those days wouldn't be caught dead talking to Samaritans. Jesus answered, "If you knew the generosity of God and who I am, you would be asking me for a drink, and I would give you fresh, living water." The woman said, "Sir, you don't even have a bucket to draw with, and this well is deep. So how are you going to get this living water? Are you a better man than our ancestor Jacob, who dug this well and drank from it? He and his sons and livestock, and passed it down to us?" Jesus said, "Everyone who drinks this water will get thirsty again and again. Anyone who drinks the water I give will never thirst, not ever. The water I give will be an artesian spring within, gushing fountains of endless life." The woman said, "Sir, give me this water so I won't ever be thirsty, won't ever have to come back to this well again." He said, "Go call your husband and then come back." "I have no husband," she said. Jesus said, "That's nicely put, I have no husband. You've had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with now isn't even your husband. You spoke the truth there, sure enough." "Oh, so you're a prophet? Well, tell me this. Our ancestors worship God at this mountain, but you Jews insist that Jerusalem is the only place for worship, right? Believe me, woman, the time is coming when you Samaritans will worship God neither here at this mountain nor there in Jerusalem. You worship guessing in the dark. We Jews worship in the clear light of day. God's way of salvation is made available through the Jews, but the time is coming, it has in fact come, when what you're called will not matter and where you go to worship will not matter. It's who you are and the way you live that count before God. Your worship must engage your spirit in the pursuit of truth. That's the kind of people God is looking for. Those who are simply and honestly themselves before God in their worship. God is sheer being itself, spirit. Those who worship God must do it out of their very being, their spirits, their true selves in adoration. The woman said, I don't know about that. I do know that the Messiah is coming. When he arrives, we'll get the whole story. I am he, said Jesus. You don't have to wait any longer or look any further. Just then his disciples came back. They were shocked. They couldn't believe he was talking with that kind of woman. No one said what they were all thinking, but their faces showed it. The woman took the hint and left. In her confusion, she left her water pot. Back in the village, she told the people, come and see a man who knew all about the things I did, who knows me inside and out. Do you think this could be the Messiah? And they went out to see for themselves.
Well, that's a familiar story to many of us, isn't it? A woman, a Samaritan, a well of the ancestors, a conversation with a Jewish man, the Messiah, the first disciple. I wonder who is telling this story of the woman at the well. From whose perspective? Was it one of the villagers? Or one of the disciples? Or maybe it was Jesus? What if the Samaritan woman told the story? There's an African saying that goes something like this. Until the lion tells the story, the hunter will always be the hero. So I wonder how this woman would explain how she was feeling as she walked to the well in the heat of the sun. And why was she coming alone in the middle of the day? Most women came for water early in the morning before it got hot. So why was she being excluded by the other villagers, from the other women? Did she feel marginalized? And who was she? How would she have described herself? A mother? A wife? A thinker? Maybe she would say, I'm a mystic. And I wonder if she was thinking about the old stories of the well, because it was a meeting place. It had been a meeting place for their ancestors for years. A place where love was kindled and new life began. And this man sitting by the well, how would she have described him? She knew he was a Jew. I wonder if she was annoyed because his sitting there would have taken her longer to draw the water because she would have to avoid him. I wonder how she felt about Jewish men who had so many rules and who criticized her and her life. And then the interaction. Jesus spoke to her. Whoa. I wonder how she would have described that conversation. Jesus listened. He heard her. He knew her. And he did not judge her. As Laura Allery says, Jesus said nothing. He just looked at her. And when he did, it was as if he was not seeing a Samaritan, a stranger, an enemy, or even a woman, whose life was messy and complicated. He was seeing a person like himself, the same, a beloved child of God. I wonder how the woman felt then. Would she have said she was overcome with emotion? That it felt good to be seen and heard, to be accepted for who she was, to be loved? I wonder. Did Jesus reflect and live out God's unconditional, holy love that accepts all and celebrates each one of us in our diversity? Today, we're going to hear about another woman, a woman who did get to tell her own story. Micah was a beautiful, gifted, creative young woman. She wrote a poem about who she was. But let's start with what others said about her. Others said that Micah had a big heart, a super smile and an infectious laugh, a wacky sense of humor. That she was beautiful, talented, caring, funny, unique, interesting. That when she had a place, it was always open to anyone who needed a place to stay. Micah had a passion for people often overlooked, a sense of justice for those who were oppressed. She was not afraid to speak out, to use her voice to stand up for what she believed. I remember watching Micah speak at the Hanover School Division Board meeting when she was only 17, 18, when Bill 18 was an issue. Do you remember that? She spoke clearly and confidently about why the gay-straight alliances were so important. She was. Yes, Micah died. She was judged, turned away because of who she was. Her life, too, ended up becoming messy and complicated. Did not need to be that way. I wonder how Micah's life might have unfolded if she had been seen and heard, if she had been accepted for who she really was, if she had been loved with an unconditional, holy love by everyone. I wonder. Micah wrote this poem about who she was. She was a storyteller. Micah's poem. I'm an artist. I'm a writer, a poet, an actor, a musician. I'm good at organizing. I'm always early. I'm terrible at remembering important things without a reminder. But I can tell you exactly what I ate at Disney World when I was 10 years old. I live with my incredible mom, my 2 amazing brothers, and a few cats. I've struggled with mental health, anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicide. But I'm doing a lot better than I have in the past. And yeah, I'm pretty gay. And I want to be proud of that and have the freedom to love whoever I choose. But that's not my lifestyle. My lifestyle is painting, acting, writing, watching movies with my family, remembering the tiniest, insignificant details, listening to music too loud, and getting better at dealing with my psyche every day. Just because I like the same gender doesn't mean that's what my entire life is based on. I don't live the gay lifestyle. I have no agenda. This is who I am. A painter, a poet, an actor, a friend, a daughter, a sister. Someone who's creative, resilient, strong, intuitive. Someone who stands up for what they believe in. That's what I want to be remembered for. That's my lifestyle.
Hello. Oh, it's perfect. Great. Thanks, guys. Hello. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm just going to start off with that, so get ready for this. My name is Angelica. I am the executive director for Band of Colors, and I use she/they pronouns. This is Cass. They use they/them pronouns, and they are my Band of Colors representative. So they're going to be standing here for support today. Awesome. You can start the presentation slides. Perfect. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Great. So, Band of Colors was established in August 2019, which was kind of a while ago. We had a bit of a rocky start because a few months later, pandemic. So it took a few years for us to get to where we are now. We're completely volunteer run. There's about 6 volunteers, and we have a lot of community support. But basically, we are Southeast Manitoba's 2S LGBTQ+ resource center. And basically what that means is we focus on support and education to those within the Southeast community. And that's everyone, not just those a part of the queer community. We run multiple programs at Pat Porter Active Living Center. We'll go to the next slide. So our mission, there's a pressing need for more 2S LGBTQ+ support in the tightly knit community of Southeast Manitoba. There's also a concerning absence of education or resources to queer individuals struggling within the community. As a resource center that focuses on support, our mission is to unify the Southeast community by involving the 2S LGBTQ+ population. This allows both communities to thrive and at the least coexist. We believe that empathy and education can encourage growth and acceptance. So what we do? So we work with other resources within and outside of Southeast Manitoba, United Church being one of our bigger ones. We run multiple programs, events, and workshops. We're going to be at Summer in the City this year, all 3 days. We're also going to be at Pride, and as most of you probably know, there's a drink brunch coming up that we're all really excited about. And we provide family and individual support. So we have had a few education workshops in the past and have lots coming down the line. We've worked with Rainbow Resource Center with Dean, and he's done a few workshops on inclusivity, and he's actually come out and talked about their therapy and their counseling programs, which has been really awesome. With 9 Circles, we're still in the works of getting ready for a harm reduction workshop, which I'm really excited about because harm reduction is very important. And as some of you may know, Opening Doors to Success, we've also been working with, and they're going to be helping us host a DBT workshop for mental health, which is also really great. That's April. We've also worked with community activists. We recently had one of my good friends, Salem Heinrichs, come out, and they did a great workshop on gender in an unsafe environment, and just very casual conversation, which is nice, because they're not always super serious. I really like interaction. I really like people asking questions, because that's one of the most important things. Support. We provide support to both those inside and outside the queer community, like I was saying. So we work with families to help both the parents be more supportive and get the education to be more understanding, as well as the youth to give them a space to explore their identity and learn to be confident in themselves. We also, as some of you may know, have been doing a clothing drive for people who want more gender-affirming clothing, and we've had a ridiculous amount of donations. It's been so awesome, and I also just want to thank the church because a lot of it's come up from you guys. We got a whole office packed with clothes. It's so great, and we're actually also reaching out to the people within Steinbach who want gender-affirming clothing, because it can be a bit of a trip to go all the way to Winnipeg to look at clothes. Yeah, one of our biggest and longest running programs is our drop-in at Pat Porter. It's every Friday, 6 to 9. It's a very diverse age. I've had my little 5-year-old sister come. We've had some 40-year-old individuals come. It's really great to have that generational inclusivity among people, because everyone has such diverse stories, especially among different ages, and it's really important, in my opinion, for different ages to talk about their stories because of how different their experiences are. It's sometimes online, which is great for those who can't always make it out. We do offer rides occasionally, but it doesn't always work out, so we do switch to online sometimes, which is really great. And we sometimes have theme nights. So we've done movie nights, we've done craft nights. We actually had a counseling focus night where we just kind of talk about the different options and what there is out there. So much shorter. And then one of the biggest things, I do want to have a huge thanks to one of our biggest supporters, which is Pat Porter Active Living Center. They're on Chrysler Gate right by the SRSS. And they have done so much for the community. They're always having things going on. It's pretty great. So even just aside from Band of Colors, you should check them out because they're really awesome and very, very active in the community. So a short little presentation apparently. Oops, I talked too fast. And then another really, really big point is, if you guys can, donating is really important to us right now. Like I said, volunteer run, we don't have any funding right now. Most of it's out of my pocket or from the crazy generosity from the community. It's been really, really awesome seeing so much support and so much affirmation. I, to be perfectly honest, was expecting a lot of negativity, but I've encountered none, and it's been very awesome. It's so great to just feel the love and support for this community, and that Steinbach is changing, and it's because of you guys and because of the community and because of your voices. And yeah, so if you guys can give a little more, donating would be great. I have business cards or our website. I think it's on the donate slide. But yeah, if you just go on our website, there's a little donate button. It's a GoFundMe, pretty straightforward. But I also do have business cards if anyone wants to get in touch with me personally or has questions or even just wants to give the card up to somebody who you think needs it. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
sometimes the best way is to hear it from the host's mouth. And thank you, Angelica. She wondered if she was a good public speaker. Thank you. From now on, you're one. Just know it. Thank you so much for the presentation. You're better at following the script more than I am, Brian. My friends, this is a time when we are invited by God to share in God's service as it is open to all of us when it comes to offertory. May we respond by offering ourselves, talents, and our gifts. Use whatever means that work for you, from in-person to all electrical means of offertory. For those that are here for the first time, on your way out on the right, there is a place where you can place your envelopes. So as I invite you friends to this moment of offertory, we will sing as also the offertory presentation will be happening. So we pray. Generous Creator, bless these gifts that they may be used for the ministry of conversion. Bless these people gathered here today, bringing their gifts in their lives in your service. For we offer ourselves, our gifts to you through Jesus, your only child. Amen.
My name is Bruce Wood. I'm a minister at Calvary United Church in Kingston, Ontario, and I've been there for 8 years now. The last 2 years have been a journey for both myself and the congregation in ways that have been exciting but also challenging. I'm transgender. For me, that means that I was born with a male body, but I have a decidedly female sense of inner spirit. In May of 2010, I found that I could no longer continue to hide who I was from my family, from my friends, and especially from my parishioners. So I came out. I told them that I was transgender and that I would be changing the way that I looked so that I would be presenting the person that I felt I truly was. Obviously, I was quite relieved when most of my parishioners told me that they cared more about who I was as a person inside than what I looked like on the outside. We soon found that that was easier said than done. I started to make changes in what I thought was a horribly slow pace, and yet for some of my parishioners, it was too fast. But we kept the lines of communication open, and step by step, we learn to deal with the change. Today, our relationship is a good, solid one, and we worry about more mundane things like how we'll pay the bills. If coming out was the beginning of the journey for my congregation, it was not the beginning of my journey. As a minister, I spend a great deal of time in theological reflection, not just when looking at the readings or preparing Sunday worship, but also in all of the events going on in the world around me, and certainly those events that are in my personal life. So it's no surprise that I soon found myself thinking of my gender identity, and this disconnect between it and my body in a theological way. And I knew I had to do that. I had to be able to speak faithfully to my parishioners when I told them. And so I was soon asking questions like, where is God in all of this? What does God think of my gender and my gender identity? How can I stand up in front of my congregation and tell them faithfully that I believe God does not care that I am transgender? Looking at the scriptures for a direct answer obviously didn't work. It would be like going to the Bible looking for thoughts on how God feels about airplanes. But as I searched for more indirect guidance, I came to Psalm 139, which begins with the words, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely." Now, those words gave me great comfort. They helped me remember that God really does know me, that we have this wonderful, intimate relationship with God. But it was really the verses 13 and 14 of this psalm that spoke so eloquently to me. "For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. That I know very well." And those verses are what reminded me that I am a part of God's great, diverse creation. A diversity that includes not just human beings, but everything around us. And not only a part of the creation, but as part of that creation, loved by God. Wonderful as that realization was, it raised another question. If I'm a part of God's creation and God loves me just the way I am, how could I even think? How could I dare think about having surgery to change my body? As I thought about it, I remembered those opening lines, that God knows me completely. God knows the pain that this disconnect causes me. And I am certain that God does not want me to continue to suffer that pain if I don't have to. And so I am sure that God has no problem with me being transgender, and that God will love me every bit as much after my surgery. And so I was able to faithfully say to my congregation, yes, indeed, I believe that God is perfectly fine with my gender identity. I hope that this short insight into my journey and into my theological perspective will help you in your discernment today. And I hope that you will welcome transgender people as simply another group that are a part of God's beautiful, diverse creation.
Let us pray. God of love, you have given us the warmth of stewardship to care for this world, or this wonderful planet, and to care for our own neighbors. We have been blessed with a variety of gifts and talents, and you call us to use them to help others. Open our hearts today to ministries of peace and justice. Embolden us to become part of this great cloud of witnesses who were unafraid to be your disciples. We name in our hearts those people who struggle with health challenges, with grief, and victims of human aggression and natural disasters, and those who are alone and feel lonely. Enable us that through our example, they may find hope and comfort. Be with us and equip us with your Spirit, that we may be true witnesses to Jesus Christ in all that we do. We now join our voices to pray the prayer you taught your disciples. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, and will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
We just want to remind everybody that there is a workshop immediately following. We'll just ask you to go back, grab a cup of coffee or whatever you would like. There are a few goodies there so that you can relax and spend some time with us. We're going to be doing a workshop called Drag Unpacked, and it will help you understand what this drag is all about, why it's important to everybody, but also why it's important to us as a faith community to offer this space. So please stay and join us. Thank you.
May the grace that reigned in Jesus, that greatest shepherd, the love of God, and the communion of the Holy Spirit be and go with us from now and forever. Amen. Thanks for coming, and thanks for staying. God bless you. Love you all.